about the nursing shortage. But here's the thing, though. The problem about that clip that I played, they were talking about what was it? I think it was about something about getting your nursing degree funded. It was something about the funding of your nursing degree. But either way, though, my point still stands. If you're going to talk about a nursing shortage, let's talk about the actual number. It's about 400,000. Now, let's also talk about the number of graduates or the number of people who's already about to be or number of people we graduate for that a year. It's about 200,000. So by the end of this year, about half of those positions that are needed will be filled.
I mean, we can to address Social's point because I'm gonna give him a little leeway. He brought up education. All right, here's the education argument. I'm in an engineering field. I know we have a shortage there. Educational field, there's definitely a shortage there. How many people are going to school to become teachers? You see what I'm saying? We can make the same argument.
Yeah, that's facts. And here's the thing. I know bro was trying to bring up, oh, what about the shortage of teachers? I'm like, bro, we're not talking about elementary and like middle school and high school teachers. We're talking about professors. If you want to talk about nursing, like, trust me, if these guys are being graduated, obviously they got professors.
Right.
But if we want to talk about the teachers that are fed up with how these high schools are acting or these middle schools are acting, then I will agree with you on that.
And then you got to also realize something. What's also not brought into that shortage, they say there's a quote unquote shortage, but there's also companies not hiring from the literal stockpile of people who have experience. And that's something that isn't being brought up or talked about either. And you have to factor that in whenever you talk about a shortage.
That's true. Yo, Link, what's going on?
What's good, my guy?
It's all good, my man. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and hear you out on this one. Please explain.
Yeah. So the my whole the initial argument that I was disagreeing with you on, where it doesn't make sense, where with the shortage and the nursing thing, was the if there's not enough. So it doesn't have to be. This could be any industry. If there's not enough people, enough Americans to fill a job, okay, so you are advocating for ending H1-B altogether for all jobs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how does an industry fill jobs when there aren't enough Americans to fill those jobs?
But that's the thing. My argument was that there are enough Americans. The problem is that these guys are bringing these H1B visas in to undermine Americans because they can pay them cheaper. I just already proved to you that we're actually graduating at pace to replace those nursing jobs. So what you're saying is also
but that's just okay. But then what happens in 2027, 2028? 2029.
We don't have those projections. You guys are talking about a nursing shortage.
We do.
That's supposed to be projected for 2026. That's where the 400,000 came from. But then here's the thing, though. We're graduating 200K per year. So at the end of this year, half of those will already be slotted. Half of those will already be filled.
But then how do we fill those other jobs until those other people graduate?
Well, that shortage don't happen until at the end of 2026, which will have that filled by that time. So at that point, there will be no nursing shortage by the end of 2026.
That's assuming those numbers don't change, though. But the numbers, even by 2030, they're saying that the projections are we're going to have a shortage of 100K by then.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Why are you believing these guys? I mean, here's the thing. You're taking their numbers, but you're not reading the numbers of the graduates. Because then you'd obviously see how this is a corporate propaganda to get you to think that we need H1B visas when we don't.
But that's the whole point of it. Okay, so
I just told you how we can replace them through our own scholars, and you're over here telling me that, oh, we can't when the numbers are out there.
Wait,
but
I got a question.
But if we have enough people, then we wouldn't give the H1Bs in that industry.
No, because they pay them cheaper. That's why they're doing it. It's not because they need it. It's because they need to get cheap labor.
Wait. So let me jump in here. I'm not sure if Link just ended up losing connection or what, but the main reason, like I said before, if you want to prove how many
Oh, there we go. My bad.
Oh yeah, hold on. Gaming, see if you can turn up your mic a little bit, if possible.
Oh, I'm just talking quiet.
Perfect. Okay.
So if you really want to make that argument for the H1B visa, let me cook for a second. Look at the national unemployment rate for all fields. Let's take trucking, for example. Let's get away from nursing and just look at trucking, for example. Trucking is one of those industries where if that industry dies, there basically the entire nation stops. And there are truckers, skilled truckers, who are leaving the field in droves. On top of that, there aren't enough Americans to fill those roles if you go by what the mainstream media says. I know this because I am currently looking into getting a trucking license on top of my already, that's a whole other thing, top of my degree, trying to be well rounded in this economy. But truckers, they were often said like, "Oh, well, we need H-1B visas to supplement, all the trucking routes and delivery to keep America flowing." Well, the average state graduates at, if I'm not mistaken, around like 50,000 truckers a year, American truckers a year, plus the other, what, 60, 70 plus million truckers that are natural born American citizens that are opting in for more in-state and localized jobs, which basically means the younger guys take the over-the-road jobs, which is what we want. However, we can't do that because there's a lot of H-1B visas that are now filling those gaps abruptly. Look at tech, same thing. Not only are tech workers having to compete with H-1B visas right out of college, right out of trade schools, but now that we're having to compete with AI on top of it. Most of the fields that are quote unquote having these shortages isn't because they're having shortages. It's because all of these roles are being taken up by H-1B visa workers before the unemployed or the people who are coming out of high school can fill those roles. And that's something, like I said earlier, you have to 100% look at if you're going to make that argument.
Hey, just real quick, just for a fact thing, H-1Bs don't apply for trucking. H-1Bs are for highly specialized jobs.
Yeah,
Usually,
neither does most standard nursing roles do not qualify for H-1Bs either, but you're still making that argument.
they do. They
Right.
do.
No, they don't. Actually,
H-1Bs,
most standard
no.
RN roles do not qualify for H-1B visas because H-1B requires
Wait,
a
well,
specialized occupation that normally needs at least a bachelor degree. Many RN jobs only formally require an associate, so no, they don't.
H-1Bs also are in the trucking industry because even though it's not a quote unquote specialized job, or it doesn't require a quote unquote
is it
bachelor's degree, it or H2, okay, we could go there. It's
H2B?
still a job being taken
That
by an
was my
immigrant
point.
at the
And
end of
even
the day.
though,
Oh, go for it.
I'm sorry, yeah, I take up chat. So go ahead, man. You go ahead.
Even it's still a job being taken from an American by a foreigner hired outside of the country by a corporation. That is the general baseline argument that S.E.T is making.
But it's not
Period.
taken. That's the whole thing. It's not taken from an American. We wouldn't give the why would Trump give out H-1Bs if we don't need people for those jobs?
That's why everybody's mad because he's doing it, and there are Americans that can do those jobs. The
But
unemployment rate for the country is like an additional 2 or 3%, man.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I was just, scrolling through all the evidence that shows that, yeah, we got enough kids that are going to be graduating. Shout out to the young scholars in nursing who'll be graduating enough to fill those jobs. I mean, let's just be honest. The way it's looking right now, yeah, there are around 550,000 plus nursing students in 4-year and graduate institutions, plus an additional ADN student in the community colleges that pushes the grand total closer to 650,000 to 700,000 nursing graduates that will be coming out.
And
I
then
don't know
you
why we're
also
stuck
got
on nursing. Could we get out? Could
I
we
mean,
do? Could we do any other
because that's what
industry?
you guys brought it up.
You did. I don't
no,
know who
all
brought
right,
up nursing.
I mean,
all
okay,
right.
good. I
We
mean,
said
all right, no,
that
you're
was
right. You're
one
right.
of
It
the
was
industries
social.
where we
It
said
was
there's a
social.
shortage. We said there's a that H-1Bs fill shortages in industries, and you brought it, and somehow somebody connected it to that was just one industry where there's a shortage, where
All
there's
right, I
where
get it.
there's
Okay,
a shortage in
so
trucking. We wouldn't
let
give visa H2 visas to people if we didn't need people for those jobs, and they're
Okay,
only
so
good for 1 to 3 years. So the
here's
people,
the
then guess what happens? We fill those jobs until those people graduate. Once they graduate, guess what? Those visas expire. They go back.
But they can be made
they don't
permanent.
though.
They don't.
They
That's the
A
thing.
could.
lot of company no, a lot of
Actually,
companies don't. A lot of companies don't expire those visas. In fact, they keep them on and just drive the wages down. That's part of the reason why people are upset about the wage
It,
crisis, because a lot of H2Bs and H1B visa students come in and they take these
they're not
jobs as quote
students.
unquote, well, workers, and they come in and they take these jobs on a quote unquote temporary basis, and then temporary goes way past what the visa should allow. And then we get into immigration territory. Case in point, here's another example, another skill that I have: trade. I HVAC worker, work around a bunch of carpenters. You know how many visa workers that are actually immigrant H2B visa workers, like your carpenters, your HVAC, your plumbers, your electricians, your welders? There's tons of them. The jobs and the trades used to pay out a whole bunch, and there used to be a plethora of Americans that could do those jobs. But now the wages are so low because there's so many immigrants over here on these visas that it's not even worth doing them anymore. So you end up solving two problems at once by getting rid of that.
all right. But yeah, I'll be honest with you. Look, I remember the debate started out with pretty much us talking about nursing. I think it was a whole shortage in nursing, and that's where
That
I
was
kind of debunked that. Now, if you're saying that H1Bs can be used to fill in a gap, I mean, for sure. But to sit here and not pretend like a majority of these guys
H1B
don't go for
visas.
permanent residency, come on now.
H1B visas apply if they're specialized industries. So people with bachelor's degrees. That's why it's computer
Yeah,
programming. It's stuff like that. Where we've got people in college right now, but we need people for 1 to 3 years to fill those jobs until the people are graduate. So we have enough Americans who have that specialized training in those industries. We need people to fill those gaps. We
we
The
don't.
do.
We're not.
problem the problem
H1Bs
is
help us. They benefit us overall. They
No,
they,
they
they fill
undermine
they
Americans
fill
though.
holes until
they benefit.
we have enough people to until we have enough Americans to fill those. Once we have enough Americans to fill those jobs, then we stop giving out H1Bs in that industry.
Yeah,
I
that's what
mean,
they said like 5 years ago, but it's still happening.
literally.
And then
Because
like take case in point, Spectrum. Spectrum is the fastest growing internet service provider in the nation. Okay. My my wife's dad worked in Spectrum for a while, and he had tons of experience up under his belt. You know who he got replaced by? A freaking visa worker. You have companies doing stuff like that on a regular basis. So if we went with your idea, what's to stop exactly that that actually happened from happening more?
I mean, nothing. I mean, it sucks for that person, but overall, it
Oh,
helps.
come
It
on,
helps. I
man.
mean,
That's not an answer. Come on, man. Come
I
on,
mean, what do
man.
you mean? What do you want me to say? So,
I'm,
I mean, it's that's overall
Mhm.
cutting cost helps Americans overall. It sucks for some people who lose that might lose a job in it here and there, but guess what? They
Damn.
have there's other opportunities for them to find a job in that
that's
industry. You know what I'm
crazy.
saying?
So you're saying so,
He's savage. I'll give
so
you that, Link.
so basically
It's just I mean it's just facts.
so basically your
It's
argument is to push out American workers slowly but surely from industries and be like,
For
well,
cost.
you can always find another job. Like, how messed up is that? You have entire industries losing decades,
I'm,
if not centuries worth of experience just to save a couple pennies here and there.
I'm be real
That's
with you, dog.
essentially the argument.
it,
For a liberal, you sound a lot like a corporate elitist. I'll be real with you. He's like, man, for the
no,
cost, man,
it's
you got to let
you
them
know
go.
that's the whole thing is it's I know I'm being a capitalist. That's I don't understand how you guys
It's
aren't a
not
cat. You
it's
guys,
That's, I mean,
it's not a
okay.
capitalism. So hold
it
up,
is
that's not really
capitalism. No, no, no. You
cat
guys,
no cat no capitalism is basically where you can do pretty much anything. It's cost versus demand. So what's the demand, and do I have what I need to meet said demand to turn a profit? What corporate elitism says is, how can I drive my costs down and make the most amount of profits? And if I can drive my costs down by hiring people and paying them a lower wage, knowing full well that they're going to send the money back to their country where, $5 is worth like 1,000 of their dollars over there, then yeah, I'm definitely going to do that option because it's cheaper for my overhead in the long haul.
Wait, that's just business. That's just capitalism.
Okay, do you like the cost of living right now?
I'm
Yes
the
or no?
one that's a
Yes
freaking
That's
no.
a yes or no. Okay, so there's the reason why it's a bad idea.
How the cost of living right now is I don't understand the connection.
The cost of living is because businesses are hiring foreign workers for way cheaper wages, driving down the cost of labor and making it harder for average Americans that are born here to actually function and live.
That
Really,
lowers the prices.
The main point is driving down the wages. That's what actually hurts us. Is when is when these foreign workers come in and they drive down wages. When it comes to illegal work or even H1-B, the H1-B visas are paid 20 to 30% less than your U.S. citizen. So that already shows the incentive right there.
But
and think about it. Why would you go from, think about it like this, bro? And because you're capitalist, right? So why would you go from paying this H1-B visa guy $100K for programming, and now you got, and for 3 years, and why would you go jump your costs up by 20,000 by hiring an American? Why not just try to work away for him to renew his H1-B visas like they do get these going to renew it, or try to get them pipeline into a permanent residency or a green card?
Because by then there's going to be a lot more jobs in that industry. The whole point.
That's not thinking like a capitalist, my guy.
that is
your logic. According
to
your
logic,
is not.
No.
They're thinking profits.
Wait, how does that lose from profits?
Dodge Brothers versus Ford. Their duty of a company is to its shareholders, not the people. And by hiring on somebody at a higher rate, you're taking money away from your shareholders. That's what capitalism is. If we go by your definition.
But I'm saying, so if let's say there's 500,000 jobs in this industry, and let's say there's going to be 700,000 jobs in that industry in 2 years from now, right? There's going to be more jobs in that industry.
Are you
that are going to be filled by Americans.
I don't know, man.
And by the time that 3 years is up, those jobs can go to Americans now because the rate that you're paying
most H1-B visas are being brought in from entry level to mid positions in the tech industry, and of course, so that's not a good thing. Those are jobs that the Americans can take because they're only entry level. That's our main gripe, is like they say that it's supposed to be for the specialized skill, but the problem is, though, it's just being used for cheap labor. That's it, especially when it comes to tech. And it's definitely being done in some parts of medicine, and actually it's being done across the board. And the American people are tired of it. And the problem is, instead of you guys being on our side, you're kind of just holding water for the corporate elites, and you're pretty much making an argument for them to save costs, but not for the American workers to, get a job, actually put their degrees to use, and get their wages increased. Instead, you're actually arguing for the lowering of our wages.
No, by the way, before we move on, I do want to get on this. I do want to say something about something you said way earlier about the dude that killed the 2 National Guards workers. And I have a theory. I think, and this is just from a military perspective, I think what happened with that guy is that he was a vulnerable veteran who was in a state of PTSD, and he was extremely susceptible to ISIS or a terrorist organization influencing him, combined with the other outside factors. I'm not saying what he did was right. Yeah, he needs to face justice, but that's just my take.
And all right, now let's go ahead and get some to the super chat so we can react to some of them. So shout out to Hellbat for the baller alert. He says, got you. Now, why the fuck don't we have some sort of reward penalty system for good and bad teachers? For F's sake, we have way too many teachers going into that profession to pull kids to their side. I mean, bro, we have way too many teachers going in that profession just for a paycheck. I mean, that's it. That's what kills us. That's
Right.
what kills us. And shout out to my man Jet. He says, "Wait, so now we're supposed to trust the corporate elites to dump the H1Bs for the more expensive college graduates when they get out of school? Like, apparently, I know it's tough to hear it, but that's literally what the other side tells us." And I get the arguments. Trust me. It's like, oh, we're trying to fill a gap, and these are logical arguments, but they undermine the American people for corporate gain. And for
You're
the Dems
basic.
to be the ones against, any type of corporate elitism, I mean, it's kind of funny how y'all make this stance.
You're basically asking an alcoholic to go into a bar and not drink with that logic.
But it's I don't understand. How can I word it? The H1Bs are not like unlimited. Like companies can't just say, I'm going to keep on getting H1Bs. You know what I'm saying? It's not like an unlimited number of them.
Yeah, but each
we
H1B
control how many there are.
Each H1B save that company about 20 to 30% on labor because they pay these guys less than U.S. born citizens. So you got to understand the labor cost.
But only for that short term, 3 years, and then they got to pay an American a regular salary. Plus, even by law,
visas be renewed
for another 3 years.
Okay, so they can keep it going. You're acting like they can't steamroll it. I mean, or they can't keep it going. They can't recycle, or they can't keep. Well, I'm sorry, not recycle.
It's not, but they can't keep on doing it. It's not. They can't keep going 3 year. It's 3 year, 6 year. Then they're out. It's like it's term limit.
So here's the thing: you got billion-dollar corporations like Microsoft, Google. You also have multi-million-dollar industries like not just tech, but also construction. Right? These companies have tons of cash, and they can throw a bunch of money around if they need to save some money in the long term. They're talking long-term gain. They're talking short-term gain. They're already aware that 3 year, 3 year, 3 year, 6 year, and then they're done. Okay? So, what's to stop a company from rolling a immigrant worker out as far as they can get on the visa status, and then importing them in as a green card? Which
hold on, I do need to read this out real quick because this actually goes into your point, gaming. Because actually, yeah, yes, an H-1B visa can be renewed, extended up to 6 years. So that's 3 years, right? Plus the 6. And if you think that's all, no, they can go past the 6 years actually. So we can have this guy almost here for like 9 to 10 years on that H-1B visa.
It was 3 years up to 6 years. So it's okay.
No. Anyway, it's 6 years.
Standard extension H-1B visa for up to 6 years.
Yep.
So you can definitely get it extended for that long. So it's not just 3 years. We could add on a 6, or even if we just add on another 3, it's still 6 more years, or in 3 years over what you said. So it's not a guarantee that they're just going to be here for 3 years. And if they've been here for 6 years, that's 2 graduation cycles that an American student could have got that job.
Yep. All to save a buck.
Shout out to the corporate elites, though, right? I mean, come on, Link, bro. Let's do the money dance for the corporate elites, bro. Come on.
It's not about corporate elites, though.
It is, though. Most of the companies that are hiring the H1B and H2B visas are businesses that make at least over $1 million or $2 million a year annually.
Even Elon guilty.
But okay, so lowering cost, a company when they lower costs, what do they do with that profit?
Reinvest, probably make a new facility, but it doesn't.
Okay,
it doesn't always translate into lower prices, though. We do know that. So
but even that innovation that they're using, the R&D that they get from it, and everything else, that helps that company grow, right?
Yeah, but then you're asking American students to go back to school to be updated with the latest and greatest instead of being in the workforce and having to work their way up like everybody else. That's lost time and lost experience. That's how you end up running into situations where companies ask you to have like 6 years of experience and you're a fresh college graduate with a bachelor's. Make it make sense.
Well, I'll just say this, bro. When it comes to the H-1B visas, I hope you're actually starting to see how this is all one big
In
just
certain
corporate
cases.
scam.
So
But
real quick, by
go ahead.
law, H1B employees must pay higher of the prevailing wages for the occupation. Of course, companies take advantage, and there are loopholes in contract work. American workers programs. So yeah, so far, there's studies haven't shown the negative impacts on wages
Are you kidding me?
onto American workers.
Are you kidding me? Have you been alive during the last 4 years?
In, in the industries where H1Bs, you know what I'm saying, and programming.
Programming, trucking,
Well,
construction,
but
nursing,
how much of
teaching.
that is AI and other factors, the
No, we're not.
economy.
That's why I said other industries to give you an idea of just how far-reaching this issue is. It
Even in,
isn't just.
and
It isn't just. Oh, sorry.
those apply to all those industries, AI, the economy,
I
carrot.
I get I get what you're saying. What I'm saying is this: even if we were to rule out AI, right? Americans' next biggest competitor is immigration. And AI isn't in all industries. It's almost exclusive to the STEM field and the tech industry. And even still, when you take that into consideration, you're still losing a bunch of American workers to H1B visas. You still have an experience loss. You still have innovations that happen whether the kids are out of school or not. You still have Americans that don't have jobs, that can't get one because they're busy competing with the immigrants for their jobs. And you're giving the corporate elite basically the cream of the crop as far as cheap labor goes.
But it's
This
not.
is all this is
Mhm.
all negative for American citizens. You're basically asking a suicidal person not to kill themselves. I could slice this 1,000 different ways for you, but if you don't see how this is an issue and why you can't exactly trust every single major corporation that makes a gross of over $100 million a year to do the right thing, then you probably will never see it past this point.
I mean, let's just be real. Like
Why would why
legally,
would why would the government do it then? Why is H1Bs a thing? If everything is all
Because
negative about, if it's only negatives,
bro, the
why do we
only
have them?
positive is for the corporation that you're supporting right now. It's negative for the American worker. That's the argument.
lobbyists. That's the answer to that. You think that these corporations aren't in Congress lobbying for things? I mean, literally, they lobbied for us to go to war in the Middle East just for the sake of some oil. You really think that a lobbyist wouldn't
Oh
lobby
my
for
god!
cheap labor?
Of course they do, but that's just business. That's the whole point of business is to lower costs to increase profits, right? They want it. They want to. That's. I mean,
On the
that's
backs of
just
American people. That's cool.
no. That's why we
I
have. I mean,
mean,
that's no. Listen, that's why things like labor unions and stuff like that are so important. That's why it's so
mhm.
crazy that conservatives hate those things so much.
So you realize that H-1B visas and H-2B visa workers can also join labor unions, which effectively push Americans out of those jobs too, right?
How? Why can't? But
Because
Americans can join those unions. It's
yes,
not like
but when
it's
yes, but when you're competing with a freaking immigrant who's going to work for way cheaper, I mean,
why would a
that pretty much trumps the labor union argument altogether
why would a union pick an immigrant over an American?
because it's about pocketing the difference.
But if the immigrant's getting paid less, then that mean the union would get paid less.
Unions are usually subsidized by tax incentives on top of union dues. I know because I used to work for one.
Yeah, but it's just so if I'm paying an immigrant, so if the union gets a cut of what the immigrant makes, and the
Hmm
immigrant makes less than an American, that means the union is
hmm
making less than what they would for if they
No, so,
had an American.
so the way So the way that
Mhm.
the union structure is set up is that one, they get subsidies from the government depending on what type of union there are. Number two, they actually have a contract with the business where the business cuts them a percentage for even forming. Basically, it's a babysitter's fee. and then the people pay into the union to be guaranteed something out of it. But the union still makes money, which is why a lot of unions are around and are a thing
Wow.
today.
All right, guys. Now, if we also got to remember, like a lot of these guys are devious players. Like they'll claim that, look, I'm only going to bring in this junior software engineer. I'm bringing him in at level 1, but really they got him working like level 2, level 3 roles, and that's how they also finesse the system.
Yeah, like I could tell you from personal experience, I'm an ROV operator. I have my certificate, and I can't tell you how many times I have seen ROV operators come in as a tier one ROV operator, which is the lowest tier, and then all of a sudden they're doing like tier two, tier three work. It's like, bro, you shouldn't even be out in the field like that.
And let's be real, H1B, they're kind of on the border level extortion. Because let's be real, legally, H1B workers are supposed to be paid at or above prevailing wages, but they're not.
Yep.
And that's in practice. A lot of them are, we'll see here. What was it? They were filed at low wage levels, just like I stated. So the reason why they're filed at low wage levels is because, all right, I'm gonna pay them less, but I'm gonna make them do one level up more or one skill level up more. So I hired him in as a junior, which means I'm only, that mean guess what? I only got to pay them that, what, 80K to 100,000 for that junior level software developer. But I'm gonna make him be at a mid-level software developer or a senior level, and I'm gonna make him do that work, which I'm really supposed to be paying them like maybe like 50K more for, but I got him in here as level 1, and this is through the H1B visas, and they're tied to their employer. So it's not like they can
And
just go somewhere else. If they leave there, they got to leave the country, especially don't
yeah,
find somewhere else that's willing to give them an H1B visa sponsor.
and then companies talk, and well, he ended up leaving. But companies talk, and if you think companies don't talk, you're dead wrong on that. You think these companies don't share lists about which visa workers they bring in and which ones they don't? Bro, if they know they can't extort you and take advantage of you, they're gonna just send you out the country.
Bro. And here's the worst part, bro. They put these guys on salary as they do the rest of them. But here's the thing: they work them past their salary on
Oh yeah,
purpose. It's like, bro, I'm just like, yeah, you're an H1B guy. I'm paying you like 100K, but I'm about to work you for 300. And you about to be doing like senior level stuff. So I should be paying you 300, but I'm about to I'm about to save a whole lot of money by putting you in as junior, but making you do senior level work.
and that's the uncomfortable part that a lot of people don't like admitting is like, yeah, there are some form, and I learned this while during my Bible study. Sometimes, bro, God's knows are the biggest blessing, and sometimes like we share that same thing. It's like sometimes when we tell people no, it's not to be me. It's for a reason. It's for their own safety and security. Part of
Facts.
the reason why Americans are being like, no, we shouldn't be doing this is because we know how our American business politics are, and we know the games that they play. They can't get over on Americans the same way they can get over on foreigners who don't really know no better. They think, oh well, they're used to being worked like dogs, so when they come over here, they think
Nope.
they're getting they think they're earning what they're supposed to be earning, and really everybody around them is like, bro, he's working you like a slave.
Bro, I'll be real with you. I've heard like high level guys talk about this, and I'm like, bro, you could talk to them however you want. It's like they have a power trip over these H1B visa guys because they can talk to them however they want, knowing that their job's
Yeah,
at risk. You can't talk to American however you want in the workplace, but these H1B visa guys don't get the respect they deserve. So it's really an extortion system that for some reason the Dems are okay with. Not only are they okay with undermining the American citizen, but they're okay with the extortion of immigrants. You gotta love it.
right. And it don't make no sense, and I'm not okay with that stuff. Now I'm gonna keep it straight. Like I agree with you said. Kick them all out. Oh well, who's gonna man? We'll figure it out. Like when
Yep.
they were talking about getting rid of the Mexicans, they were like, "Who's gonna pick all the crops in the field?" You know what that sounds like? Who's gonna pick my cotton? That's exactly what that sounds like. It's the same argument that the Democrats made back when they abolished slavery. Who's gonna pick the cotton? Like, bro, pick it yourself.
Like literally, you're literally asking for these guys to be extorted. Like, and here's the thing: they were saying, "Who gonna pick the fruits?" You know how bad some of these guys these illegal immigrants live, who got to pick these fruits. You know how much they get extorted. How some of them will go for pay, and then the guy won't pay them and say, "Oh, I'm gonna call ICE on you if you keep asking." And y'all want that for these people?
And it's like ran these infomercials about like how these immigrants have struggled for years and they're happy to do like, bro, no. I'm gonna tell some people this right now, and I'm gonna say it on live with my whole chest. This country, if you're not an American citizen, bro, will chew you up and spit you out. We are not like China or Japan or India or any of these other places where it's kind of known and you can work around the system. This system here, if you're an immigrant and you ain't on your P's and Q's, it will take advantage of you
Hmm.
in every sense of the word.
Yeah, I mean, and shout out to her. She said I had a good idea as well. It's like I think they should stop H1Bs for a few years and let Americans fill those jobs. It's like, and I don't understand. Like I said, it's crazy how the Dems have this logic of just like, oh well, we need them, bro. We need them to fill our jobs. We need them to replace us for birth. We need when will you guys stop falling for the globalist agenda? Like, at what point don't you sit there and open your eyes and be like, hold on, does this even sound right? Does this even benefit my people? Like, what am I
And
saying?
then it was like I wasn't trying to like gag him a whole bunch or like over talk him or try to have a bunch of gotcha moments. I'm asking like legitimate follow up questions like, are you sure you can trust somebody who has power to give it up? No, we've seen this time and time again in history. And then it doesn't just stop there. If you're going to say you're a capitalist through and through, your goal is to make wages high so that you have a consistent customer base. It's the cost of goods and services versus your customer base analysis. And if the price of your goods and services are way too high to where people can't afford them, you might as well not even be in business. If the
Mhm.
wages are high and everybody can afford your stuff, then I can see why your prices look the way they do. But when wages are low and your prices are high, you're not going to get that much business. So you end up shooting yourself in the foot in the long run unless you're a large enough business to where you can just supplement the price difference with pure volume.
True. I mean, hey, I like the way you explained that. Now, here's the thing. I don't even think these guys are bad guys. The problem is, though, it's just that, of course, they're not bad guys. Like Link, cool guy. I'm pretty sure social. He sounds like a reasonable guy, even though he was like kind of red herring with the whole, oh, what about the shortage in teachers? I'm like, I mean, we could talk about that later, but I thought the main point was nursing. But all right, here's the thing, guys. H1B visas is not our saving grace. If you're expecting immigrants to save us, I mean, I'm sorry, but yes, you are what we call a globalist. Because for some reason, you're trying to look outside to fix within. And we got to fix ourselves as American people. I mean, we got to up our own birth rates. We got to put ourselves first and stop letting other people tell us that we're not worthy, that we're not enough, or that we're not doing enough. And then here's the thing, though. They don't even prove to us that they're not doing enough. They just go ahead and make their moves on their own. I mean, they're already here talking about a shortage in nursing, but we got all these nurses ready to graduate. But they want to talk about a shortage. I'm like, damn, can you wait?
And then you're basically calling Americans lazy. And I ain't gonna lie, like most Americans are willing to get out and work. There's a reason why. I'll tell you this. I've met a lot of people from Europe that say you guys travel really far. We are what's called super commuters by the rest of the world standards, traveling whole countries distance away almost for a job. And
Mm-hmm.
we do that regularly. So most people think that Americans don't want to work. That's not the issue. It's nothing out here.
Yeah, and then like what the Dems will tell us is that, well, the low wage jobs are for the illegals and the high wage jobs are for the H1B visas, and that's just all a corporate elitist strategy to not pay you what you're worth, or not pay you a livable wage, or what they'd pay you as citizen. It's just, bro,
And then
it's
on top
literally a corporate agenda to pretty much allow you guys to let them to rip you off when it comes to wages.
And then on top of that, it sounds like a two-tiered system. Like foreigners are worth less than Americans. Is that's really not what